Om Shanti. Good morning. So today we are revising the part 2 of the Murli. This Avyakt Murli dated 2nd April 1972, titled How to Be Worthy of Glory. In the part 1 of this Murli, yesterday we had we have understood the concepts which Baba gave, the two main things, the two high frequency words, elevated words, that I am an elevated soul and I am a guest in this old body and the old world. These two elevated awareness, if they are naturally in the awareness, then they take us easily in a go beyond. It makes us go beyond. And then Baba said about the 6 aspects, which if we remember, then we can easily be seated on a stable stage. These 6 forms, basically, this first is the name. Who am I? I am a elevated Brahmin soul. And what is my form? I'm a Shaligram, just like Father. Then what time is presently? What is the time? Time is of a confluence age. Then what is my home? My permanent abode is the Param Dham. I belong to Param Dham. I am a guest in this world, in this old body. And then what is my duty? My duty is to give pure feelings, pure energy, take from Supreme Father and give to everyone while playing the role. And what is the inheritance I am receiving from Baba? Versa. These 6 awareness makes my stage always stable. Thereafter, Baba spoke about the 3 certificates which endeavor of every soul during the confluence age. And these 3 certificates are basically the contentment, experiencing contentment with own self, efforts which we are making for self-transformation. And the second contentment is contentment with the service the soul is doing, service of sharing pure energy with everyone. And the third certificate or the third experience is the experiencing contentment with others, and others also experience contentment with the self. Then Baba spoke about that majority of the souls have got the first 2 certificates, but the third certificate, that is contentment while coming into contact with the other souls of various types of sanskars, is where the souls are lacking. The majority of us say that the result is not what it should be. So Baba spoke about how to fortify, how to how to get the pass with honor in the third certificate. So coming to the today's part of the Murli. Yeah, here, I think, yeah. So Baba, today in this second part, Baba says which are the qualities which will make us pass in the third certificate too. So let's start the Murli. In order to pass in the subject of being content and making others content when coming into connection with them, what main aspect should you have? On the basis of your own experience, see why there is discontentment in your connection with others. In order to make everyone content, or in order to make your connections content, or in order to make those in connection with you elevated, the main thing is to have the power to tolerate, that is Sahan Shakti, and the power to accommodate is Samna Karne ki Shakti. These two powers, Baba says, are the key, are the key towards making everyone content, making everyone elevated. Excuse me. The reason for discontentment is that when you discover, according to your own reasoning, that someone else's words, sanskars, or actions are not accurate, ayatharth, then your own words and actions also become like that. And through this, the other souls become discontented. Very subtle way. Baba is going deeper. Baba is churning into the deeper aspects of why there is a discontentment when we, as a soul, we see someone else's words, sanskars, or actions which are not as per their original form. That is, are they are unreal form which we come across. Then our own words and actions also become like that. They get influenced, and through this, the other souls also become discontented. Seeing someone else's sanskars or words or actions, you think that it is not right or it should not be like that. The intellect takes a decision that this is wrong, someone else is doing something wrong. However, in spite of that, if you were to imbibe the power to tolerate and the power to accommodate, then these powers would automatically give that soul the vision of his inaccurate behavior. But what happens is that in order to grant him a vision or to make him realize through your words and your features, you also come under the influence of your own sanskar. Very important to be underlined. Because of that, neither are you yourself content, nor are others content from you. If at that time you have the power to accommodate, then on the basis of this, or on the basis of the power of tolerance, you can avoid his actions and sanskars for little time. And then your powers of tolerance and accommodation can shoot an arrow of contentment towards that soul. Through these two powers, the soul gets seated on a powerful stage, and then it can shoot an arrow of contentment towards that soul, the other soul. Because of not having this, there is discontentment. So when coming into connection with everyone, in order to make them content and in order to remain content, these two virtues and powers are very essential. Power of tolerance and power to accommodate. It is through these that your virtues will be praised. Although you will not appear to be victorious at that time, you will appear to be defeated. The defeat of this time will put a garland around your neck for many births, in fact, the entire kalpa. So this is a very important aspect. Temporarily, it will appear as if we have got defeated because we have, expressed the power to tolerate and power to accommodate. But on a long time basis, the defeat of this time will put a garland around your neck for many births. So you should consider this defeat to be a victory. Because of having this weakness, you do not have as much success in this subject as you should have. Whilst having knowledge in your intellect, you should also have the understanding of what knowledge to give to someone and at what time and with which yukti. Other than these two powers, there should also be a sense in the intellect that what knowledge to give to someone and is it appropriate time and is it with the right yukti. Sometimes you think that you have given some instructions, some corrections to someone, but if it is not the right time, if that soul does not have the power or the capacity to listen to it, then those instructions do not work like instructions. You generally sow a seed having seen the ground and also the time, and then there is success. Baba is comparing with this thing, agriculturist, a kisan. What he does, he sows a seed. First, he prepares the ground, plowing and all, and then at the appropriate time, he sows a seed. If it is not the time or the ground is not right, then no matter how good the quality of seed may be, it will not bear fruit. In this way, if you want to give points of knowledge as a teaching or a yukti, then first see the ground and the time. The ground is the power of the soul. Now, what is the ground here? This analogy. Ground is the power of the soul. That does the other soul have the power to receive the teachings at this time, but also see the time, and then the seed of the teachings can give fruit. Do you understand? So this could be a kind of homework today. Whenever we are coming into contact with other souls, then we should we should keep these aspects in mind. So at the present time, the most elevated souls, the Mahavirs, should pay attention to this spatial effort. This is the sign of being courageous. To keep content, though those who are already content is not being courageous. So what are the signs of the courageous soul? The courageous soul will have the contentment. Those who are already content is not being courageous. To give love to those who are loving is not being courageous. To cooperate with those who are cooperative is not being courageous. However, just as you uplift those who defame you, no matter how uncooperative someone is with you, with the power of your own cooperation to make uncooperative souls cooperate is known as being courageous. When the other soul is not cooperative, when the other soul is not loving soul, when the other soul is having different sanskars which are not in alignment with the original form, then there is a real challenge. The courageous soul is the one who makes uncooperative soul cooperate. It, Baba says, Baba says, because of this reason, This is not possible. This one is not moving forward, and that is why this is not happening. No matter whether they move forward or not, you can move forward, can you not? You should think that this is also the love of your relationships. If a relative is weak in something, then it is not a maryada to leave that one alone thinking that he is weak. So this is yet another aspect, that if someone is needs help, someone is weak, or somebody gets fallen down on ground, then we lend a helping hand and we help that person to stand up. Similarly, in communication, in contact with other souls, if we find some soul is weak, then it is not a maryada to leave that one alone, thinking that he is weak. The godly maryada is that you do not leave alone someone who is weak because he is weak, but you make him strong by giving him power and make him your companion, that you make such a weak soul worthy of taking a high jump. This is the real godly service, Baba says. And Baba is giving us the technique how to do that. Then you would be called a Mahavir, or a courageous soul. So, by paying attention to this subject, whatever plans for service are created or whatever points emerge, then these jewels will begin to sparkle in the jewels of the plans. Gold on its own is not so attractive from afar, but if there are diamonds studded in the gold, then it attracts others towards itself from a distance. This is yet another practical example. Baba says that if there are diamonds studded in the gold, then that gold attracts itself from a distance. You may create the plans, but each of you should put this diamond on yourself, the diamond of soul consciousness, that I am a sparkling star, a shining star, shining on the forehead, and I am a master almighty authority. You may create the plans, but each of you should put this diamond on yourself, and then when you put the plans into a practical form, you will be successful in spreading the sound you want to throughout the whole world. And that sound will be so powerful. It will not be limited just to the near and dear ones, but also it will spread throughout the whole world, the entire genealogical tree. So souls from far away will be attracted towards this diamond. Do you understand? Acha, Om Shanti. So, in this second part of the Murli, Baba spoke about the two key powers to be passed in the third certificate of contentment, that is, contentment while coming into contact with other souls. Other souls are contented with the self, and also the self is contented with others. So, these two power to tolerate and power to accommodate. And then Baba spoke about that the, while in contact with other souls, the responsibility on this is on the self, that the soul has to be on a powerful stage. It should not come under the influence of either the other sanskars or its own sanskars of the silver age. And then The power of tolerance and accommodation can shoot an arrow of contentment towards that soul. And Baba said that the knowledge in the intellect, we should also have what time and which yukti we should adopt to shoot an arrow of contentment to the others, and also to prepare the ground. First, tell about the virtues, the other souls about their qualities, and then shoot the arrow of contentment. Do you understand? Baba says it's more churning. And when somebody is weak, we should not leave that weak soul alone. We should, as a godly directions and as a godly service, godly maryada, we should help those souls to get lifted up, get elevated, take a high jump. And that is what is the definition of a true courageous soul or a Mahavir. And then Baba said about the gold, how the gold on its own is not so attractive, but if it is studded with diamonds, that is diamonds of being soul consciousness and in command of the powers, then that itself does service to the souls far away, not only near dear ones, but also the far away. So let's do a journey for a minute, take a pause here, and then everyone can share their experience and the journeys. Om Shanti. Sure. Om Shanti. I would request, I would invite all members of the Divine Family to share their journeys and experiences. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Ji, Baiji, and Divine Family. Yes, I truly love this beautiful analogy today. Sometimes what happens is I try to sow the seed when the ground is not ready for planting. Whenever I am ready, I have so much intoxication with the Murli point. I try to impart that knowledge and understanding into my kids or with my family, but they are not ready. And I have to be careful. If they are not ready and I am ready, why am I forcing? So I do that. So thank you, Baba. I will try to control myself. It's excellent learning for me, not to force, not to look for other ways. I'm still trying somehow I can impart these points in their personality, but I think it won't happen until I imbibe fully in my personality. Thank you, Ji. Om Shanti.
Yes, Om Shanti. Wonderful sharing. Yes, Baba is giving us practical methodology to how to first focus on the self before we shoot an arrow of contentment. And also look at whether the other soul is ready. Is it the right time? And am I using the right yukti? Am I empowering first myself and the other soul, and then I share whatever learning I have to share with that soul. Om
Yeah,
Shanti.
this is my biggest mistake, and I always do that. And now I will avoid. I intentionally do that. I don't focus on myself putting in my life, but I try to impose on my kids, on my family. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful. Good. That's a great takeaway for all of us. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, brother.
Om Shanti.
Baba is a teacher, they say. And today, as you were reading that paragraph, being a teacher Lokik teacher for so many years, my memory lane just shot down to the thing which we have in what we call it as teacher education. And I saw most of that, like they say, in education, teaching is not complete without learning. Teaching is a process where it leads to change in the learners. And if a true teacher should know the attitude or behavior of the learner, the learning situation, the nature of the learner. And so many things we learned in education about affective learning, cognitive learning and all. And I still very vividly remember the theories of Sultana Pablo, how the theory of learning with reflection, how do we do to learners? So that kind of education, I had learned over here, today when Baba spoke about this thing, check the ground and the time. I don't know, immediately my mind just went to teacher education and how that kind of thing as a good teacher, Baba wants us also to be a good teacher, because just like as a teacher, I want changes in the learner. Baba also wants us to bring about changes in the soul, not the top-down approach, not by putting down knowledge in him, but it should automatically come. Like when he wrote over there, automatically they will have a vision that they are wrong. So what is that way of what we call it as giving, but getting the thing from out? So for that, I'll have to know the power of the soul. What is the power? Is it a weak soul? Like even in learners, we have weak learners, and they give special kind of education for the weak learners. So here also Baba is saying how through love, you can really make these weak souls also come. I don't know, when I just took the analogy as a teacher, and the whole thing flooded down in my memory as you were reading over here. The ground and the time, the nature of the learner, like how I try to create clay into a good student. Can I create a vision of the Lord in the mind of that soul in whom Baba wants me to get contentment? Om Shanti.
Yes, sister. Wonderful sharing. And also, often, what the trap we get trapped into is practically that we look for a victory on a short-term basis. We look, our ego gets satisfied when we get a victory instantly, when we have told something and the other learner has accepted it, seemingly accepted it. But that Baba says that's not the victory. Victory is that even once you understand, and sometimes you have to you have to understand the other soul, and then that in this process you may appear to be defeated at that time, but the defeat of this time will put a garland around your neck for many words. So power to tolerate, power to accommodate is not a defeat. The Rockic souls think that as a defeat, but Baba is giving us a secret. That is something which makes us victorious for the many births, the entire kalpa. That soul will always give you as an idol, as a worthy of worship form, that soul will have your sakshatkar vision that way. Om Shanti. Other churnings, please. May I request other souls also to churn? We have little time, a minute or two.
Om Shanti, brother. Good morning.
Om Shanti.
Baba mentioned subtly about while looking at others' qualities, how we also get seeped into our own sanskars. A very, very subtle mention about this is actually the phenomena why we get dejected at that instant. I mean, a very stubborn kid, a very old person with rigid sanskars, we do get demotivated or get angry. And that's what makes us go low that point in time. And Baba mentions this aspect of our mind very easily, very smoothly here. I like that point. So apart from looking at the good quality of others, for that instance, we should also remember him so that we remain in our own original sanskar, is what I want to take home today.
Beautiful, beautiful, very nice.
And second point, Baba somehow is the ocean of forgiveness again. He says, do not leave the hand of the other person who is having weak sanskars. Stay with him. That is courage. It's always easy to get along with people who are good or easy to go along with. But it takes courage to be with the tough ones. So he builds both this sense of forgiveness and courage in us. So thank you, Baba. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Baba. Wonderful sharing. Yes, it's easy to be with those who are loving souls, who are cooperative souls, but it's very difficult. It's challenging, in fact, and it takes constant practice to adopt this methodology which Bab Dada has shared with us. Om Shanti. Anyone else?
Yes,
Rakesh?
Balaji. Sorry,
Yes,
can I
yes,
add something?
yeah, please.
Yeah, just referring to brother, he was saying it's very easy to get along with the people with the same intelligence level, but not other ones who are weak, who are having weak sanskar or less intelligence or difficult to handle. Baba is so smart because that's the field where our growth, our true growth lies. When we have to deal with the difficult people, there is a reason why those people were placed in our life. So we can grow, so we can focus on our insecurity and our weakness. We can improve on ourselves as well as we can help others. This is what my experience. Thank you.
Yes, indeed true, because that is what will stud the gold with the diamonds. That is what does make the soul a Mahavir soul. And this world is a laboratory. I often say this, this is a laboratory where we do experiments, and we constantly achieve success by constant practice. So, Om Shanti. Then can we take this as a homework today, that when we are coming into contact with the other souls in the family, because family is, we are in touch with the souls most of the time, the dear ones, and how to achieve this contentment with other souls, and how to also, while making them content, self also remains content with them. So how do we apply these two powers, power to tolerate and power to accommodate, and to give the right knowledge at the right time and in the right manner? So let's take this as a homework today. Uh, Om Shanti.
Om Bhai, I just wanted to ask you something. See, when somebody was just sharing, it's very easy to speak to a person who's in the same level of intelligence. And Baba's very said, it's not great to give love to somebody who's already loving, to give something which is already there. You know, the same challenge also a teacher faces. Already, if somebody has got knowledge and then they come and in front, it's not great that you have transferred something. But to really put in something for the person who was barren, that land which was barren, and then putting knowledge and creating something. That's what Baba wants. That's what I said. Now you spoke about the ground, but if you see in one of the paragraph, Baba has spoken, the ground is the power of the soul. Okay, that's what we say, the capacity of the learner. But also see the time. That also in education, we see whether the learner is ready to learn, that mind is ready. Or can you just throw some light when I'm giving the yukti for knowledge and all here? Part of the soul, what does, I'm not talking about confluence age and all, what is that time? I know pulse, but what is the real target which Baba wants us to do when he says, but also see the time?
Yeah, wonderful question. I would first invite any member from the Divine Family to share.
Om Shanti, brother. Sister's question
Om
is
Shanti.
actually one that went behind my mind, and I felt I do have an answer. You know, these souls which are actually tough in their sanskars do know that they're having trouble correcting themselves. So a point comes where they do know that the other soul which is tolerating, who is in a situation to leave us. But as Baba says, we are holding the hand of the other soul. They do realize that, yes, it is now the time that I have to say sorry or change myself. So that point wherein the other souls come and ask for forgiveness or gets into guilt is the time wherein we should be ready to give the right knowledge to the soul. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Om
Yeah,
Shanti,
yes.
may I also add something
Yeah,
here?
please, please.
Yeah, actually, this is a very valid question and important also for us to understand how to deal with this when we are facing such souls around us. And like the brother just said, when he's ready to say sorry, you know when to help. But, I have also witnessed that sometimes the people have actually realized that they've done something wrong, but their ego is so powerful even now that willingness to say sorry, even the willingness to admit to themselves that they've done something wrong is sometimes lacking because of their sanskars or whatever you want to say. And then that becomes a challenge. So what I have tried to practice is I just keep sending healing light and visualizing Baba's light on them and just wait for the right time, because I can see they're not even ready to apologize. They're not even ready to acknowledge that, yes, something is wrong. The only thing they have recognized is that, yes, I did something wrong in their own head, but they're not ready to take that step forward. And that is quite challenging, both at work and at home. I don't know if it relates to others in the group. Om Shanti.
So sister, just I can ask you over here. So can you say that one should understand, like in education, we say understand the psychology of the learner, see what is really in his mind. So just like that, Baba says, understand the mind of the soul. So many Murlis, of course, Baba has said how to really know the mind of the person. Does that relate to time? Because for me, yeah, the word time was very little, because yeah, time. Still there is time for the gates to open. Why should I force that seed to bear fruit? Can't I allow it, to lovely, naturally grow? That's why I didn't understand Baba's relevance over here. That's why I asked. I think from what you say, one should go to the psychology of the learner, or what we call it in spirituality as the mind of the learner. Am I correct, sister?
Yeah, not consciously going into the psychology, I would say, you can sense that vibration as you start practicing and sending healing light. I feel you intuitively pick it up. This person is needing more time and best to leave it alone. And I'm not saying I'm always right or wrong, but you can feel it. I think we all can. When is if we just focus on our inner being and at that point reflect on that person when we are meditating, somewhere the voice answers you, just leave it for the timing, or I think you can talk now, maybe wait for the right moment. I think those answers come when you're in your own quiet time. That's what I do, at least. And as far as the timing, which Baba is saying, I think that timing is not just for the others, that timing is equally for our own selves. So it is like every second is counting. So to that extent, the time is always relevant. So,
Yes.
and if I can just take 30 seconds more, brother. This was, I'm talking now not the spiritual thing, but on the practical work life. I used to follow and even talk about it in work, about the 4Ds, like for time management. The first one is do it. This is something only you can do, and this you have to do. The second is delegate it. And the third is delay it. That means you also can't do it, somebody else also can't do it. So just delay it because it can wait. And anything that doesn't fit here, dump it. Because actually, time management just becomes very, very critical when we are talking about life that is running towards the finishing line. And if we can prioritize, this is what I have to do for myself, this is what I can delegate, this is what I can delay, and this is what I can dump, my time runs more effectively. And same thing goes with dealing with other people. Om Shanti.
Yes, wonderful sharings by everyone. Definitely, and Baba has given us an analogy, just adding a reflection that about how to prepare the ground. Suppose if it is a barren land, and then it will be difficult to sow a seed. And even if we sow a seed that time, then the seed will not bear fruit. So first we have to till it, tilling, plowing. We have to use some equipments to plow it, and it takes time. It's not that we'll get instant results. No, we have to keep plowing it and do extra hard work, and thereafter, at the right time, that is a kisan will choose a time of early mornings. That is the time he will sow the seed, so that the seed bears a fruit. Similarly, during Amrit Vela, if we do not, these such kind of souls who are hard to crack, then during Amrit Vela and these special times, we, send the vibrations of, pure feelings, purity, happiness, joy to those souls, and then the ground prepares, and then you can see yourself, experience yourself in those souls will present themselves in a different way after we have done this. And that is the appropriate time when you share with them the right virtues, the right knowledge. That is the right time. And then that soul is, you have made that soul powerful to receive your learning. I think that Baba has already given us the analogy. We just have to practice in day to day life. So let's take that as a homework today. And if anyone else wants to share, or we move on to the 1 minute meditation. Om Shanti.
Bhaiji, Bhaiji, I
Yeah,
already
please.
shared, but can I add something more?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's beautiful discussion going on. I just want to add one more point. It is absolutely true that the person who has difficulty, that person will not realize at the same time. He will realize might be after 10 years. He will not say sorry or apologize. Of course, internally, that person knows I'm having difficulty, but somehow due to ego will not admit, will not try to work on himself or herself. But If I am a teacher, if I am a mother, if I am playing both roles, is it my child or is it my student? If I am originally true teacher in classroom, I will consider that learner is not child of somebody. That learner who is having difficulty or who is insulting me in classroom is my child. If I see that student from that perspective, that is my child, then no matter what, I will never ever give up on that child, no matter what happens, until I am successful, until I am able to make some positive changes in that student life. Doesn't matter how long it will take. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. And I just remembered, like in when we were school-going children, that time we used to be a strict teacher, and that strict teacher we used to sometimes also kind of hate that why is he so strict and all. And when today, when we reflect upon those memories, we give him so much of respect that because of him we are where we are. So we have achieved so much in life because of that teacher who was strict that time. So and he didn't budge on the kind of quality of homework which we used to do, and we used to maybe out of fear, but we used to do that homework, and those concepts helped us to clear the competitive examinations. So now I put a garland around him whenever he comes, and we go and meet him. We definitely I bow down before him, maths teacher. So if we apply this here, Baba says, show bossiness on own weak sanskars, and be show mercy on others' weak sanskars. So Baba has really given us a knowledge. We just need to apply it, and that's it. So let's
Yeah,
move on. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yep.
true. It's true. Unfortunately, we were lost and we found Baba right now, but we were sharing from our past experiences. That's what happened. Not only strict teacher, but Baba said love and law. Of
Yeah.
course, a teacher needs to be have discipline, but a teacher also needs to be loving,
Yeah.
kind-hearted. Only
A-
then, because strictness will not work at all.
yes. Yes. And
Strictness will not work.
sometimes you have to be ignoring others' weak sanskars. Be a vakil, lawyer for others' weak sanskars, and be a judge for your own weak sanskars. That is the key, actually. And that is a fundamental one which Baba says means about power to tolerate, what to tolerate and what not to tolerate. Don't tolerate your own weak sanskars, tolerate others' weak sanskars, what to accommodate, what not to accommodate. So I think that we'll practice for today, and we'll share whatever we have experienced tomorrow morning session. So let's go to the 1 minute meditation. So let's all, divine souls, be seated on the seat of ultimate power. Feel the company of the Supreme Soul, the Almighty Authority, the Universal Powerhouse, the source of all the divine powers, the Supreme Father, the Supreme Mother, supreme relationships. Feel all relationships with Him, the one and the only one, in 100% connection with Him, receiving these powers. The more I, the soul, receive these powers, the more I get seated on the powerful stage, blessed with the right knowledge, understanding of the right time, understanding of the right form, understanding of the right duty, understanding of the right, the real home which I belong to. I am in this consciousness of the guest, of being a guest in this old world and in the old body, and connected with my original abode, connected with the Supreme Father. I am an elevated soul, in the highest and the holiest frequency, radiating powers of hope, love, peace, happiness, bliss, and powers to everyone around me. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Mumbai. Thank you, Divine Family, and see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Till that time, have a wonderful day.